After 8 games, the Buffalo Bills are 6-2. But what do the Bills look like statistically compared to the rest of the league? I'm going to let you know. Welcome to Bill-ievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to a statistics episode of Bill-ievers Talk, where we're going to take a look at the Bills statistically and where they rank with other teams in the NFL. Before we do that, however, I want to remind everyone, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, guys, hit that subscribe button as we're continually giving you Buffalo Bills content, keeping you up to date on all Buffalo Bills news, keep you updated on the Sabres and other Buffalo sports as well. So again, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about where the Bills stand in the statistics compared to other NFL teams. Now, of course, we know our Buffalo Bills are riding high at 6-2, but we also know that a lot of people are saying that this team isn't as good as their record indicates. Terry Bradshaw, just to name one, this past week says that the Buffalo Bills are 6-2, but they're a bad team. Well, let's find out if that's true or not. Let's compare how the Buffalo Bills are doing to other teams in the NFL and also see where we're going to improve. We just saw the Buffalo Bills sign another defensive tackle to hopefully help out that run defense that's looked really bad the past 3 weeks. Let's see if this Buffalo Bills team can improve in other facets of this game season as well. We've seen them constantly improve so far. We saw them improve from midway through the season last year to the end of the year, and now we're seeing them improve again this season. Where will that take us come playoff time? So let's first look at the Buffalo Bills yards per game. Currently, the Buffalo Bills are 23rd in the NFL in yards per game. Now, this time last year, the Buffalo Bills were 31st. So there is improvement there, but you do want to see more improvement. Again, people calling for Dable's head, people saying Josh Allen isn't living up to the billing. Let me know where you sit. Do you think Brian Dable deserves to be fired like a lot of people do? Or are you saying like I think, and Pierre from Buffalo Fanatics thinks that, hey, we're all being a little bit too hard on Brian Dable. Let's cut him a break. Again, 9 out of 11 of the Buffalo Bills starters on offense are new this season. So to be ranked ahead of where we were last year, currently 23rd, not looking as bad as it was. Yards per play is actually better, ranked 19th in the NFL. So yards per play, we're doing about average, just not getting as many plays as some of the other teams in the NFL. That comes with playing Buffalo Bills football. Not as many possessions in a lot of the games that we've played compared to other games. You look at this Redskins game just this past weekend, only 8 possessions in that game. So you can see that we obviously are not getting as many plays as some of these other teams, affecting maybe our yards per game. But yards per play, we're doing a little bit better there at 19th. So again, could we do better? Yeah. But if you remember last year at this time, yards per play was also down 30th in the NFL. So look at that both ways. I think 19th, again, a big improvement from last year. I think maybe we need to see what Dable can do. Now he has his full complement of toys, because remember, another thing is we drafted Devin Singletary, but Dable had to hold off on using him to the fullest of his abilities. Used him last week, got over 100 yards of all-purpose offense, did really good for our Buffalo Bills, and got in the end zone. So we'll see how Dable does now that he has a full complement of weapons back there. Then you go to rush yards per game currently, and again, this will improve with the addition of Devin Singletary getting full-time action. Currently 11th in the NFL, and that's tied with rush yards per play. A little bit worse than last season. Last season our rush off, a little bit better than last season. Last season our rush offense was 17th in the league at this time. So it's good to see the rush offense again getting a little bit better with Frank Gore back there. Again, Frank Gore doing better than LaShawn McCoy did last season. And now with Devin Singletary back there, we know how explosive Devin Singletary can be. So we look forward to seeing him more acclimated to the offense, and we'll get hopefully more yards. I think he's averaging 6.8 yards per game, or maybe that was just this past week, yards per carry, I should say. But still doing pretty good for this Buffalo Bills offense. Gives you that little bit of explosiveness that we wanted out of him. And this might open up the passing game, play action, things like that. We might see Josh Allen do a little bit better in that game as well. Speaking of passing yards per game, we want to see that number up, right? But again, when you get as few possessions as the Bills have in some of these games, it's hard to match some of the totals. And we know that Josh Allen still hasn't thrown for a 300-yard game yet. A lot of people are saying that they can't wait for Josh Allen to throw for over 300 yards. I would argue with a little bit of confidence here that the first time Josh Allen throws for 300 yards in a game, I think we might lose that game. I don't think that Dable has it in his system to have Josh Allen throw a bunch of times for a bunch of yards. Now, of course, if you hit John Brown or Robert Foster on one of those deep routes, that could change everything, get a 70-yard play in a chunk. Of course, that's going to change things a little bit. But when it comes to playing in Buffalo in November and December, don't see Josh Allen throwing for 300 yards in those conditions. And then when it comes to controlling a game, winning a game, and using the run game to keep the clock moving, keep it at the pace you want it to, hard to get over 300 yards offense. The only way Josh Allen's going to do that is if he airs it out with someone, maybe a Dak Prescott in a dome, maybe down in Miami when he's playing the Dolphins. But again, we don't want that game to be close. We want to just run out the clock as fast as possible in that game and come away with the win. So we'll see what happens. But right now, the Buffalo Bills are 26th in passing yards per game, 22nd in passing yards per play. So again, goes to show you we're not getting as many plays as a lot of teams in the NFL because we don't run the style of offense that's up and down offense. And so we want to control the clock more. We want control time possession. We don't want a lot of possessions. We want to be able to run the ball, run the clock out, and then control the game that way, especially when we get in December in Buffalo. Not exactly a time to be running and gunning, as people would say. Now, Jim Kelly did it, I'm sure, but if you look back at some of those games, they weren't always the best in December. September, October is when they really took control of everything. And then when you have Thurman Thomas in the backfield, makes things a little bit easier. So pass yards per game, we're sitting at 26th, but per play, again, a little bit better at 22nd. Compared to last year where we were 32nd in the league in passing yards, that's not too shabby. Points overall, again, we talked about this last week. We are averaging 19.1, not doing too much better. Scored 24 on Sunday, 19.8 points per game, has us 23rd in the league. We want to see that improve. However, if you remember Sean McDermott last season, Coach McDermott did say that as long as we're scoring 21 points a game, he feels like they'd be okay scoring 21 points a game on offense. We're close to that number. Still want to see it get a little bit better. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, and we all know this is Buffalo's strong suit, right? Buffalo's a defensive team, one of the best defenses in the league, and then they just want their offense to not lose them a game. And that's been working so far, again, to the tune of a 6-2 record. But how has that defense really done when we break it down statistically? Well, again, the pass defense, of course, lights out. You talk about the yards per game, we're third overall, yards per play, third overall. Talking about the passing yards per game, we're third overall. You look at our secondary, you look at our corners, they are some of the best in the league. Trey White, I think, is making his case for a Pro Bowl season. Of course, you got Hyde and Poyer back there, always underrated at the safety position. I think they're two of the best in the game as well. Pass yards per play, we're third again. So again, it doesn't matter if you're talking about per game, per play. Third in the NFL, behind two really good defenses in New England and San Fran, of course. But now we go to the rushing yards, and this is where everyone's talking about how bad the Buffalo Bills have been in the past recent weeks, including myself. Talk about the game against Miami. They did pretty good running the ball for it being Miami. Talk about the game against Philadelphia, ran for over 200-plus yards. And then you talk about Adrian Peterson running for over 100 yards just in the first half last week against the Buffalo Bills. Now, in the second half, I will remind you, he only had 7 yards, but still over 100 yards for the game. Rushing yards per game, the Buffalo Bills defense is 19th in the league. Again, something you want to see improve, and with the addition just yesterday of Corey Liuget, we hope to see that get better. The defensive tackle, we saw an impact by Vincent Taylor in his first game. Maybe that will get him more acclimated to the defense. He'll get better at that defensive tackle position, and we might be able to do a little bit better, and we need to, because we got a lot of good running backs left on our schedule. You're talking about Bradley Chubb. You're talking about Ezekiel Elliott. You're talking about Ingram down in Baltimore. A lot of good running backs left. And of course, we still play Le'Veon Bell again at the end of the season, even though Le'Veon Bell not having the year that people would have thought he was going to have. Still a tough out no matter how you slice it. So 19th against the run, third against the pass, good enough for the third overall defense. And another good thing, again, we allowed over 100 yards rushing, but we didn't allow the Redskins to get in the end zone. And that's a huge key, right? If we trade touchdowns for field goals, we'll win every single time, right? If we score the touchdowns, they score the field goals, we should come out on top in those games. We've only allowed 16.4 points per game. Again, good enough for third best in the NFL. And those are the numbers you want to look at. You want to look at the points scored, which again, we're 23rd. We want to be higher, obviously. You want to look at the points against, third, only allowing 16.4. That's pretty good. Like to keep that number there. Like to move that points getting points up a little bit. We want to score more points, obviously, than 19.8, get closer to 21, 22. And I think this defense can hold on. If we score 3 touchdowns a game, I think this defense could easily make this a 10-6, 11-5 team. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Again, those are the stats for the Buffalo Bills after 8 games, 9 weeks through the season. Already had our bye week, 8 games in. Those are where we stand compared to the other NFL teams. Again, a lot of people in the media saying the Bills are not as good as the record indicates. I think they're wrong, and we have plenty of time to prove that, and we will, hopefully, in the upcoming weeks. Again, an underdog this week to a 2-6 team, just an insult in my opinion. But I look forward to hearing your opinion. Let me know in the comment section what you think about where you rack up compared to some other teams in the NFL. Which stat in particular would you like to see us improve on? For most people, it's that run defense. But let's get those rushing yards up, right? 11th in rushing yards. I think we can do better than that as well. But we'll see what happens with this team. See if Brian Daboll's going to stick around. Let me know if you think Daboll should be fired or if we should give him a shot for at least the end of the season. I know Ken Dorsey's waiting in the wings, probably licking his chops a little bit, trying to get into the offensive coordinator position. We'll see what happens for the remainder of the year. Again, 8 games to go. The tougher part of our schedule is now. You talk about Baltimore, you talk about New England, you're talking about Dallas. A lot of tough games coming up. Talking about Pittsburgh, that could be a big one as well. I look forward to watching it all with you guys, including this Sunday as I am live for play-by-play reaction to the Buffalo Bills game against the Cleveland Browns. So join me for that game right here on YouTube, or go over to Sportscaster, link in the description below, and check us out there. Links also down below for BewareTheStampede.com. Bill-ievers Talk and BewareTheStampede.com, teaming up to give you the best Buffalo Bills coverage in 2019. Go to BewareTheStampede.com for all your Buffalo Bills news, roster news, salary news, player information, Hall of Fame information, and also stadium information as well. Everyone talking about Bills need a new stadium. Check out the information that we have on the stadium on BewareTheStampede.com. And also, again, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.